Barry Eugene Carter, better known as Barry White, was born on September 12, 1944, in Galveston, Texas. His early family life was complicated. His father, Melvin A. White, was already married to another woman when Barry was born, so his mother, Sadie Marie Carter, initially gave Barry her surname. However, Melvin later altered the birth certificate to reflect his own last name. Barry was raised in the Watts neighborhood of South Central Los Angeles with his younger brother Darryl. His musical journey began with his mother's classical music collection, which inspired him to teach himself piano by ear. Although some claim White played piano on Jesse Belvin's 1956 hit Goodnight My Love at just 11 years old, he later denied this, calling it a journalistic exaggeration. The two did live in the same neighborhood, but Belvin was over a decade older. White attended Jacob A. Riis High School in Los Angeles. During his early teens, his voice underwent a dramatic transformation that startled both him and his mother. This deep, resonant voice would eventually become his signature in the music world. However, his youth wasn't without trouble. At 16, he was jailed for 4 months for stealing Cadillac tires. While in jail, he heard Elvis Presley's "It's Now or Never" on the radio, an experience that inspired him to pursue a better path. On his 18th birthday, instead of attending school, he visited Capitol Records and spent hours watching the bustling Hollywood scene, cementing his desire to enter the music industry, despite not being able to read or write music. In the early 1960s, after leaving gang life, White began recording music with various groups and under different names. He released Too Far to Turn Around with the Upfronts in 1960 and later worked with local labels like Rampart, Pharaoh, Linda, and Jordan. Though sometimes miscredited with producing Bob and Earl's Harlem Shuffle, he clarified in his autobiography that Gene Page had done so. By the mid-1960s, White was producing songs like Feel Alright for the Bel Cantos and writing tracks like Together Forever. His industry experience expanded when he joined Bronco Records, where he worked as a songwriter and arranger, collaborating with artists such as Viola Wills and the Bobby Fuller Four. With co-writer Paul Politi, White helped launch singer Felice Taylor's career with hits like I Feel Love Comin' On. In 1969, he signed as a producer with Forward Records, furthering his influence in the music scene. White's major breakthrough came in 1972 when he discovered the girl group Love Unlimited. He wrote, produced, and arranged their hit Walkin' in the Rain with The One I Love, which sold over 1 million copies and marked the beginning of his commercial success. He later married the group's lead singer, Glodian James. In 1973, White formed the Love Unlimited Orchestra, a 40-piece ensemble that originally supported Love Unlimited. Their instrumental track Love's Theme became a chart-topping hit and led to several albums featuring lush orchestral soul tracks. Around the same time, White reluctantly launched his solo career, initially planning to use a stage name before settling on his real name. His debut album, I've Got So Much to Give, featured the hit I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little More Baby. Throughout the 1970s, White dominated the charts with tracks like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, and You're the First, The Last, My Everything, earning him numerous nicknames such as the Walrus of Love and the Maestro. Though the disco backlash in the 1980s impacted his mainstream popularity, White continued touring and recording. A resurgence in the 1990s brought him new fans, especially with the success of Put Me in Your Mix and The Icon Is Love. The single Practice What You Preach marked his return to the top of the charts, and he even won 2 Grammys for his final album, Staying Power, in 1999. In addition to music, White lent his voice to various media, including commercials and animated features. He made appearances on The Simpsons, Ally McBeal, and voiced characters in films and ads. His legacy as a soulful, romantic voice in American music remains unmatched. Barry White's personal life was marked by a complex web of relationships, family, and personal challenges. At just 19, he married his childhood sweetheart, known only as Mary in his autobiography. The couple had 4 children together, with 2 born by the time White was only 16. Despite their early bond, the marriage ended in separation in 1969, followed by divorce. In 1974, White married singer Glodian James, and their relationship extended into their professional lives as well. They collaborated on the 1981 album Barry and Glodian. However, the couple reportedly separated in 1988, although they remained legally married until White's death in 2003. Despite living apart for more than a decade, Glodian was recognized as his widow and was named the sole executor of his estate. White had at least 9 children from different relationships. With Glodian, he fathered 4 more children. Their daughter Shahira worked closely with him as his personal assistant, while Barry Jr. joined the Love Unlimited Orchestra and also acted as his tour manager. Another son, Mac Kevin, was involved in White's music publishing business. In addition to these children, White had a daughter, Denise Donnell, born in 1962 to Gatha Allen. Denise only discovered her paternity in 1988, after which she was embraced by White and legally changed her name to Denise White. In 2016, she filed a lawsuit against White's estate after her financial support stopped. After his passing, White's former girlfriend, Catherine Denton, claimed that her infant daughter, Brianna, was his child. She also alleged that White had promised her money and personal belongings. However, paternity tests disproved her claim, and she ultimately lost her court case. Throughout his life, White struggled with serious health issues. He was significantly overweight, at times reaching 375 pounds, and was a heavy smoker, reportedly consuming around 150 cigarettes daily. In May 2003, while awaiting a kidney transplant and undergoing dialysis, he suffered a severe stroke, which forced him to step away from public life. In the final weeks of his life, he experienced multiple seizures. His health continued to decline, and due to instability, he was unable to receive a new kidney. On July 4, 2003, White died of cardiac arrest at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 58. His ashes were later scattered in the Pacific Ocean. Barry White's legacy lived on after his death. In 2004, he was posthumously inducted into the Dance Music Hall of Fame in New York. On what would have been his 69th birthday in 2013, he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That same year, the show Counting Cars paid tribute to him by restoring his last car for Glodian. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked him 56th on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time, celebrating the enduring impact of his deep, soulful voice. Affectionately nicknamed the Walrus of Love, White's voice was once described by the BBC as the rich timbres of one of the most distinctive soul voices of his generation, adding that if chocolate fudge cake could sing, it would sound like Barry White. Over his career, White received 11 Grammy nominations and won 2 in 2000 for his album Staying Power. His discography spans several decades, beginning with I've Got So Much to Give in 1973, and includes notable albums like Can't Get Enough, 1974, The Icon Is Love, 1994, and his final studio album, Staying Power, 1999. In conclusion, Barry White had an estimated net worth of $20 million during the time of his demise. He accumulated this sum of money from his career and business ventures. With that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.